So your favorite team made it to the postseason. Congrats.
Congratulations! Oh my God.
Now here's how they can end up winning the NBA Finals. Probably not though. Like and subscribe. The Hawks were pretty bad to begin the season and stayed that way if we're being honest, but at least their best months came in late February through April. You guys have Trae Young, who led the league in total points and total assists this year. So yeah, y'all got a top 10 player. But if you guys can give Trae some help and keep shooting the ball at a high clip, the second best 3-point percentage in the league, then maybe you guys can cause problems for some teams. Gotta get out that play-in though. Boston has had the best record in the East since the new year and has the best defense as well. No Robert Williams in round 1 will be a problem, but that defense led by Marcus Smart is still tangible to cause fits for any team until the time load is back. Oh, and they also have Jason Tatum, who's been averaging 30 since the All-Star break. Add in Jaylen Brown, who's still producing nearly 24 a night, and the Celtics are a tough team to beat. The Nets had this guy named Kevin Durant, who's pretty good at basketball, and a guy named Kyrie. But seriously, the Nets constructed right now may not have the best defense, but they can score in bunches led by Kai and KD, and that's enough to keep you in the games at all times. All the Nets need is 1 or 2 more role players to step up alongside the Nets duo, and the Nets can play spoiler in the Eastern Conference. And apparently, Ben Simmons is on the way. If Charlotte didn't go 2-10 in February, then they probably don't end up in the 10th seed. Look, Charlotte will score, and they have 7 guys who average over double digits this season, but their defense allows the most points, and they have the second to last worst defense out of all the remaining postseason teams. LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges will have to step up big time, share the sugar, get guys involved, and getting that offense moving is the Hornets' best shot at winning these games. Chicago had the 4th best record in the NBA before the All-Star break, and then finished with the 6th worst record and the worst record amongst all postseason teams. Did I mention that the Bulls are 1-11 against the top 8 teams in the league? But it's simple like this. Injuries suck, and they can mess up a team's rhythm, but DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine have the offensive firepower to get themselves going, and we've seen DeMar this season put up Wilt Chamberlain numbers as a guard. Adding Patrick Williams will help the defense in the low post, but I'm not gonna lie, this is gonna be an uphill battle for the Bulls, but the Slash Bros are gonna be the only hope. A healthy Cavs team was one of the best defensive teams in the league, but with no Jared Allen and Evan Mobley just now coming back into the lineup, the defense the Cavs were known for having has fallen off. But the Cavs still have Darius Garland, who have to produce more on offense in scoring and playmaking for others, and the entire Cavs team is going to have to compensate for Jared Allen out of the lineup most likely. Veterans like Rajon Rondo and Kevin Love have won championships, and in high-level stakes games like these, I expect them to help and aid Garland and Mobley in the first postseason action. Dallas has a top 10 offense and defense, led by Luka, who's having an MVP caliber season again. The Mavs are in a good position to make a run in the West if Luka gets help. Tim Hardaway Jr. is still injured, but Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie have been pretty solid and consistent as second and third options, and the Mavs have looked good on defense. Adding Luka magic that we always see in the postseason, the Mavericks can give your favorite team problems, as long as Luka's good to play. Hopefully his calf injury isn't as bad as it looks. Nikola Jokic is good enough to disrupt your entire defensive scheme. You add in competent role players and you have a legit nightmare on your hands. It's going to be tough though for the Nuggets without Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray, because those 2 guys can get their own shots. Jokic will have to keep playing at a high level, or the Nuggets will most definitely be heading home. But that's easier said than done. If the others on the Nuggets hit their shots, especially from 3, then Jokic will have a much easier time disrupting defenses with his IQ and scoring ability. With Steph's availability in question heading into Game 1, you would think the Warriors would be screwed. Think again. This team is deep and full of guys who can step up when it matters most. Klay Thompson in his last 5 games has been averaging 28 on good efficiency. Draymond has come back and is still wreaking havoc on defense. And Jordan Poole looks like the Warriors' best offensive talent after Steph Curry. The Warriors still have the framework of their big 3 that has won 3 championships, so don't count them out, especially when Steph comes back. I praised the Clippers all year on being competitive without Kawhi and PG, and they've put themselves in a position to prolong this season. And with Paul George back, the Clippers now have a true number 1 to go to, alongside the role players that have gotten better the entire season. The Clippers are the 3rd best 3-point shooting team this season, and adding in Paul George just creates more problems for those defenses. Look, Memphis is 1st in points, rebounds, steals, blocks per game, 1st in fast break points, 1st in second chance points, 3rd in pace, 5th in offensive rating, and 4th in defensive rating, while going 19-2 without John Morant. Yeah, this team is kinda crazy. But the Grizz have all the tools to go all the way this year if they keep up this level of production in the postseason like they did in the regular season. Miami may not be the most threatening team, but they aren't the 1st seed in the East by luck. Top 10 in offense and defense this year, the Heat have had a strong system that has kept them competitive the entire year while missing guys in and out of the lineup. Everyone is back, including Victor Oladipo, and the Heat should look like a threat to any team they have to face. And as the league's best 3-point shooting team and the best team that guards a 3-point shot, holding teams to the lowest percentage, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Kyle Lowry, and Tyler Herro with the snipers on this team can play D and score the ball. The Bucks are looking to repeat, and it's going to fall on the shoulders of Giannis, who's had another dominant year. Middleton was an all-star and was productive, but Jrue Holiday has also stepped up and been a reliable option to score this season too. The Bucks are deep and have the bodies to cause a hassle on defense, even though they were the top team defensively this year. But in the playoffs, it's different. If we all think Giannis is the best player in the league, then I definitely can't count out the reigning Finals MVP when they have enough talent on the roster to get the job done. The T-Wolves honestly shouldn't be in the play-in tournament. They'd be the 6th seed in the East and would have avoided the play-in. But the T-Wolves are a team that has been competent on offense, second in points per game, and have a top 10 offensive rating in the league. Led by Karl-Anthony Towns, who's had an impressive All-Star, All-NBA caliber year, Anthony Edwards, who made progress in his second season, and D'Angelo Russell. The Timberwolves closed the season pretty good on defense, but gave up the most second chance points out of all the remaining postseason teams. The big three in the playoffs will have to carry the load, and the T-Wolves will have to get back on track on defense if they want to keep playing basketball in April and May. New Orleans committed to making the playoffs at the trade deadline by trading for CJ McCollum, and now they have an opportunity at giving this young team some postseason experience. Since the All-Star break, they've had a top 10 defense and caused the most turnovers since then as well. Zion Williamson may not be back, but Brandon Ingram will be the main focal point on offense for this team. And CJ McCollum and Jonas Valanciunas are good secondary options who have been through competitive playoff battles as well. The Pelicans may not look intimidating, but they can disrupt you on defense if you let them. It's looking like Embiid may not win the MVP award, but he is a scoring champ, and that tells you a lot about what he brings to the Sixers. Embiid can go to the line, dominate from the post, and also shots in the paint. The Sixers are on his back, and with the addition of James Harden, you're adding another elite playmaker who can get others involved while getting his own. And while since adding Harden hasn't made the Sixers look like heavy favorites to come out of the Eastern Conference, they still have all the pieces necessary to do so. From Tyrese Maxey, who's a spark plug on offense, Tobias Harris, the third option who has to show up, and even Thibault, who's a perimeter nightmare on defense. The Sixers have enough to make it to the finals, and it all depends on Embiid and Harden getting it done. And Doc Rivers not coaching like a
Watch your profanity.
I'm not gonna lie. These guys are the favorites. The Suns are the best team in the league with the best record, top 5 in offense and defense, best field goal percentage in the league, and hold the teams to the 3rd worst field goal percentage in the league as well. From Devin Booker and CP3 having all NBA caliber seasons, to Mikal Bridges locking up on defense, who could win Defensive Player of the Year, to just a deep team that includes DeAndre Ayton, Jay Crowder, Cam Johnson, Cam Payne, all coached by Monty Williams. The Suns have a second shot of finishing the goal they fell short of last year. San Antonio honestly has the worst shot of making any noise, but they're a patient team that plays at a very fast pace. Look, I know, with the 4th highest pace in all the remaining postseason teams since the All-Star break, the Spurs like to get the ball moving and have one of the highest assist-to-turnover ratios in the league and are top 5 in turnovers per game. DeJounte Murray, who I think should win Most Improved, wants to have an extraordinary offensive explosion, and I think he can, as he's a nightly triple-double threat. Keldon Johnson as well, who shoots nearly 40% from 3, wants to have his best performance for the Spurs. They want to keep their season alive. But even if they do lose, the Spurs are a young team that play a high IQ level of basketball. Shout out to Coach Pop. Them boys in the 6 have turned their season around. From starting 15-17 to 48-34 in the 5th seed, the Raptors finally clicked. How? Well, they forced their opponents to the 2nd most turnovers since the new year and are top 5 in opponents' field goals made. Add in the fact that Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam are both averaging over 20 points per game while playing like all-stars. Scotty Barnes has looked stellar and might win Rookie of the Year. Gary Trent and OG Anunoby are averaging over 17 points per game, and the entire team is big and strong enough to play physical defense. The Raptors have the same core that won the championship back in 2019 and are coached by underrated head coach Nick Nurse, who is a great mind at defending superstar players. The Raptors can make some noise this postseason if they're healthy and on the floor. And for the final team, the Utah Jazz. Utah has the best defensive big man in the league in Rudy Gobert. Jokes aside, if Rudy isn't on the court, then the Jazz defense is legit trash. Now the Jazz about to rely on D. Mitch to do what D. Mitch does every postseason, which is elevate his game. We've seen the headlines of the duo of Gobert and D. Mitch not working, but the Jazz have arguably the best low post defender and a reliable superstar when it matters most. What the Jazz will need is their others to step up, and I'm talking about Mike Conley, Royce O'Neal, Bogdanovic, and Jordan Clarkson to take the next step offensively to help D. Mitch and try harder on defense to help Rudy Gobert. If the bench unit and starters help the Jazz duo, then maybe, just maybe, the Jazz could see success. Doubt it though. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Which team do you think has the best shot at going all the way and winning this year? And which team do you think we should look out for during the postseason? If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe if you're new. And be sure to turn that post notification bell on so you never miss a video. Until next time, stay on beat.